So a client of mine recently pushed back on something I set up for his brand. We built a two-step pop-up where the first step asks a visitor a question about their buying behavior, and the second step collects their email. And he said, why are we making people answer a question first? Wouldn't it be better just to ask for their email right away? Less steps, less friction, more signups, etc. And I totally get it. On the surface, it makes complete sense. Why would you add an extra step? It seems like you're just giving people another reason to leave. But here's the thing. Two-step pop-ups consistently outperform one-step pop-ups, and it comes down to one psychological principle called commitment bias. When someone commits to answering that first question, they've already started the process. They're engaged. And now when they see the email field on step 2, they think, I already answered the first question, I'm already here, I might as well finish what I started. With a one-step pop-up, visitors see you asking for their email and they immediately close it because they've seen that 1,000 times from every other brand. There's no engagement, no investment, nothing to make them care. The two-step approach flips that. Instead of asking for something right away, you're starting a conversation. You're asking them a question that feels like you're trying to help them, and once they answer, they're way more likely to follow through. Plus, here's a bonus that most people miss. Whatever they select on that first step can get stored as a profile property in Klaviyo, so now you can actually segment these people and send them targeted content based on what they told you. Your pop-up isn't just collecting emails, it's collecting data. Now, every brand is different, so if you're not convinced, A/B test it, run a one-step pop-up against a two-step pop-up, and then let the data decide. Most of the time, the two-step pop-up wins. I'm going to show you the clip that my client sent me with his concern, and then the exact Loom video I recorded walking him through all of this. I think a lot of you watching are probably thinking the same thing that he was. All right, let me get into this.
Hey, Siv, what's up, man? So I was just on the website and this popped up, and I remember in the past you said that this is a technique that allows the user to advance in the process of giving their email or whatever. But I don't know, like I understand from a marketing best practice point, and I'm not trying to argue that, but I guess from my gut feeling, and maybe it's just me because I'm not, I already know the brand thing. But when this pops up, it feels like a mental block for me. Like, okay, they're just trying to gather information, as opposed to like when I get hit with a message that says like, get $100 if your first 4 orders, and I see all I have to do put is my email, and I don't have to put my name or anything. Typically, I'll just drop it in because I'm like, all right, I know they're gonna send me an email. I can always unsubscribe if I want to, but like that's a pretty good deal, and just in case I want it, I'll do that. But this, for some reason, it feels like a mental block to me. I could be right. I guess we can look at the data, and I know that this pops up in the bottom here, so they can just go through that again. But I don't know. In my head, it's sort of like if somebody were to come click on it again, and they're just like, what do I have to tell you what I'm looking for? Like, just give me the discount. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me talking out loud.
Hey, Jesse, hope you're doing really, really well. Just wanted to say thanks again for sending over that quick video going over your concern regarding the two-step pop-up. Just wanted to kind of record back a quick video just to kind of share my thoughts with you and kind of see how we can, move forward with this. This is a two-step pop-up. The first step is asking them, saying you got $100 off. We're asking them a quick question about their buying behavior and their order. And then the second step is then obviously collecting their email. So by the way, Jesse, this is a very, very common question that I get, when I set these pop-ups up. And, I definitely don't blame you and your kind of logic and thinking. It would make sense that people are more likely to, give us their email if we don't have, multiple hurdles and multiple steps to jump through. So, this is kind of obviously a little bit counterintuitive for us to, ask a question before then asking for an email. But the reason, the psychology behind this and the reason why it works is that it kind of plays into the psychological principle of like a commitment bias. So basically what that means is that if someone commits to, answering this first question, then they're a lot more likely to follow through with what they started. Rather than if we just ask them for their email straight up, they're a lot more likely to just click off, immediately because they're so used to seeing other brands pop-ups and, asking for their email right away. So in essence, this is a way for us to actually, engage with, a visitor of your website or, potential customer of your website. When we're asking them this question, they feel like, we're trying to support them in their journey and we're trying to help them out. And if they, when they see this question, they're not thinking, oh no, like I have to, answer this question in order to get my $100 off. Like they're probably thinking in their heads, like from a buyer's perspective, they're thinking, okay, maybe if I answer this question, they're going to this is going to help me out in some way and help me, guide me into making the right decision, which technically we are, because, with each answer that they select, we're actually going to be storing a profile property for that specific Klaviyo profile. So, you can even target people based off of what they selected here with like very, very relevant content, which in turn, definitely can help them in their journey. So yeah, basically the first step, we're asking them a question, really trying to engage with them. And, by the time they click on the answer, they're fully engaged. And by the time they get to the second step here, they're a lot more likely to enter their email. And, from their perspective too, they're like, I already answered this first question. Now they're asking me for my email. I already got to the second step. I might as well well just, give them my email at this point. This is the last step. And so, yeah, that's the reason why it works really, really well. And again, it is counterintuitive because you would think that adding this first step before asking for their email is just going to delay the process and add more friction. But interestingly, we found it to be the opposite, where, adding this question has actually resulted in an increase in opt-in rate, which has been really, really, significant in terms of results. So one thing that I think that is possible though, is that I would suggest that we A/B test, this current format where we have a two-step pop-up and test that against just, having them, just enter their email right away. And then from there, we can let the data tell us, okay, which one is actually performing better. And then, finally just selecting that one, because every brand is different. This is typical best practice these days, especially. A lot of big brands are doing a two-step pop-up, but again, every brand is different. And so, yeah, one thing that we can do is do an A/B test. So let me know if you want me to set that up, and happy to do that. And, we can monitor the results and see. So there you go. That's the real conversation, the real reasoning, and the real strategy behind the two-step pop-ups. If you want the full system I use with all of my clients, grab the Email Revenue Playbook. It's 126 pages covering list growth, deliverability, flows, and campaigns, and literally all of my knowledge when it comes to maximizing your email revenue from Klaviyo. It's completely free, and the link is in the description of this video. And if you're watching this thinking, I'd rather just have someone handle all of this for me so I don't have to worry about email, that's literally what I do for a living. And so there's a link in the description as well to book a call directly with me. And on that call, we can just have a simple conversation around what you're currently doing with your email channel, what strategies you're currently using, what flows you have set up, and basically how I can help, set everything up for you if you want. So link is in the description for all of that. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.